Hello, and welcome to Grug Gaming, and welcome back to our Let's Play of Ultima 7, the Black Gate. Last episode, we were on our way to find the tortured one, so that we can get the answer to life and death. So, let's go ahead and head through Skara, Brae, the land of the dead, and see if we can't find him. We just took the ferry across, so let's see what we can see. Based on the map, Skara Brae is not very big. If you see here, we're talking, it looks like there's maybe just a couple of houses. In fact, why don't we see if in the clue book we can find Skara Brae real quick. Might have to do a little bit of the old zoom out here to find the S's. Turfin, there we are. Skara Brae, look, it's a tiny town. Look how small this place is. Look at this. There is nothing here, really. So, let's check it out. Here we go. We got a sign here. It says Skara Brae. Something 40. Is that those runes? Just says 47. Something 47. What does that KF looking thing mean? The K looking thing is not a K. That's a P. And that's the two little POP population 47. So there were 47 people on Skara Brae when it all went bad. Alright, let's see here. So we got a ruined house up here. Oh! Got a chair kind of doing its own thing. Some debris. Looks like a place here. What do we got? A ghost. More ghosts. The whole inn is full of ghosts. I don't know how long our spell lasts. That's a good question. Didn't think to check. Oh, we can just walk in here. Okay. No biggie. Hey. How about we just leave the doors open? We got garbage. This is all just garbage. I really wish that would stop being all windy. Standing before you with a hand on her hip is a lovely young woman with long black hair. Ooh, thou art a big one, my lord. She traces the line of your bicep. I'd wager you couldst lift me over thine head. She smiles enticingly. However, you doubt that you could even touch her in her ghostly state. Thou mayest call me Paulette, gorgeous. What can I do for thee? She winks at you. What's your name? Why, my lord, hast thou forgotten already? I am Paulette. What's your job? Well, my lord, I used to clean tables here. As she says this, she bends over and pretends to wipe a table clean. You notice how low cut her bodice really is. And serve people like thyself, of course. None so handsome. Her ghostly features blush prettily. But that was before, she shudders, the fire. What about the fire? Oh yes, it was horrible. The tavern caught on fire. I ran to my room hoping to escape the flames, but then I started coughing. I couldn't breathe. Her chest rises and falls quickly as if she's reliving the experience. Finally, I could take it no longer. She brings the back of her hand to her forehead dramatically. I fainted. Then I was here again. Just like thou dost see me now. Her smile is like that of a child. So what happened to the tavern? Why, 'tis called the Kago Spirits. That's a fine name for a tavern, dost thou not agree? True. When you mean here again, you mean as a ghost? Yes, 'twas quite odd. When I awoke, it was as if I had never left when the fire began. In fact, were it not for the scorch marks everywhere, I would doubt the fire ever happened. Tell me about the tortured one. She appears puzzled for an instant, but then she nods her head. Oh, thou must be referring to Cain. He was the alchemist who was responsible for the fire. So we have to go find Cain. Paulette rushes up to you as you say goodbye and gives you a little kiss on the cheek. She backs away slowly. Farewell, handsome. Man, these clouds are just terrible. I want to buy a thing to turn off weather effects. The corpulent, undead barkeep greets you with a wide, gruesome smile. Come, stranger, have a seat near old Markham and tell me o' your travels. I don't often get visitors in here anymore. Of course not, you're a ghost. What's your name? The heavyset zombie wipes his mouth off on the back of his hand. It said ghost, not zombie a minute ago. I be Markham, Markham o' the Keg. He pats the large keg of wine he carries. The lovely Paulette strolls over and pats Markham's rather large belly. Yes, he's Markham of the Keg, all right. She smiles sweetly down at the older man. That's enough of that. Markham smacks the pretty young woman on her ghostly posterior. Make yourself useful and fetch me a haunch of venison. She turns away giggling. He looks at you with a mirthful expression. I just don't know what I'm going to do with that girl. What's your job? Why, I run this fine establishment, the Keg of Spirits. For a moment he becomes serious. This place once drew folks from all over Britannia. Gargoyle and human alike, until the fire, that is. What happened with the fire? He looks uncomfortable. Cain blew the town to the four winds, and now we're all trapped here, slaves to that bastard Horrence. Tiny blue flames appear in the pupils of his glazed eyes, then go out as he regains his composure. Please, Markham, have a little pity for Cain. He was trying to create something to save the town when he made his fatal mistake. Ooh, who is this? The pale ghost looks deeply troubled. Oh, I suppose you're right, Quen. He was trying to help us when he called the proverbial fires of hell down on us. It just rankles me to have died in my prime. His roguish smile once again tightens his ghostly visage. Who is Horrence? For all the years I've been in Skara Brae, he's been a raving lunatic. Well, that's crazy. Wipe off my glasses here so I can actually read everything in front of me. Sorry for the delay here, folks. Had a speck on my glasses, thought I could clean it, and turned out that was not the case. There we go. What with all them silly rhymes and his crazy laughter? Then one night we all hears thunder when there isn't a cloud in the starry sky, and I seem to recall a full moon. He gets a thoughtful look on his face. But as I was saying, there was this thunder, then this deep dark laughter coming from the tower on the northern point, Horace's dark tower. After this, he falls silent for a moment. The pale ghost moves forward and whispers, I was already living in the half-world of the dead when these events took place, and ever since, I felt a strange pull coming from the tower. After a brief swig, he continues, Then, even worse, I'm out checking on the cows when I hears a sound like moaning. It's off to the east, so I look that way. Into the graveyard, you know. And what do I see? I'll tell you what I see. The grave's ripping open like the people in them got a place to go. Eyes wide, he tips back another sip. And Cain? A look of disgust comes to his disfigured features. That tortured soul haunts the crater made by his foolish mistake. It wouldn't go near him, though. He's a bit daft, you know. He refills his mug from the cask at his side and swigs down most of the wine in one swallow. Keg of Spirits? He truly looks sad as he says, This place was once my pride and joy. The keg was known all around Britannia, and a few other places too. Well, now it don't look like too much, but in its heyday it saw the likes of nobles, knights, minstrels, and merchants, and of course a bit of riffraff to be sure. He winks at you. His spirit seems indomitable. The tortured soul. That's just the name the rest of us in Skara Brae call him. The tortured one. He grins embarrassed. Skara Brae? That's the name of the island you're on. He shakes his head. Okay. Goodbye. Oh, are you leaving then? Well, take care now and watch out for those walking dead. Some of them aren't too happy about their state. And none too picky about who they complain to, neither. So where's the other ghost that was talking? Oh, right there. This is the other ghost. Nope, that's Markham. Was it you? There we go. The pale-looking ghost turns in your direction and gives you a wan smile. Hello, could it be that we have met somewhere before, my lord? You see recognition in his eyes. Then it fades. Forgive me, he shakes his head, then smiles. I am the shade of Quentin. Quentin. Do I know that name? Name. I am called Quentin, my lord. It's your job. He smiles. I once roamed the sea for days at a time, gathering my harvest of fish. What do you mean by shade? My story is a long and sad one. I hope thou hast some time. He appears thoughtful for a moment and then begins. When I was a young man, I met a lovely woman by the name of Gwen. I made her my wife, and we lived for a time happy and carefree. She brought a light into the world, and we called her Marnie, which means the cool breeze after a storm. He smiles to himself, at some memory, and then continues with a furrowed brow. Then one day my wife was taken from me, I know not where or by whom, save that they were evil men. Soon after, my sweet Marnie became sick at heart, and I feared for her health. I could not take time from my fishing to care for her, but I needed gold. So I made a deal with a man who was not to be trifled with. This was mine undoing, for when I failed to repay his loan, he came to me one night and slew me. I had not a chance to fight back or call for help. He falls silent. But that was long before the fire that turned this whole island into the land of the dead. Was he... Do you remember in Ultima 6, we came, I think, didn't we come here and there was a vineyard? In that vineyard, there was a murder mystery, and the girl had a locket that we got super angry because it turned out the locket we needed to find was just sitting next to her in a chest. I think that's who this guy is, the guy who got killed. Marnie. After I was murdered, my good friend Yorl cared for her as his own. He tried his best, and her sickness only worsened. After several months, she weakened and died. He stops there, tears filling his ghostly eyes, and angrily he says, "And now her spirit is held by Horrence, the Lich. Thou must rescue her from that foul beast." He attempts to grab you, but his hands pass through without resistance. Now, Quen, settle down." Markham moves closer to you and whispers, "Forgive him, my lord. He sometimes loses control like that when he talks about his daughter. Sure'n ye can understand, though." Tortured one. Cain, he was an alchemist here in Skara Brae. Now he spends his days in eternal pain, caused by his guilt from causing the fire that destroyed this town. Tell me about the fire. It seems that Mistress Mordora, the town healer, thought she had a plan to stop the Lich, Horrence, which she told to the mayor. I am not sure exactly what she planned, but it involved Trent, the town smith, and Cain the alchemist. Not long after, Cain began his work. A maelstrom of fire tore through the island, destroying everything. Skara Brae burned for days. Mistress Marora? Quentin looks hopeful. If thou wouldst like to assist us, she is the best one to speak to. She seems to know the way to rid us of the Lich, at the least. And the Lich? Once, over 2 centuries ago, I knew a gifted mage named Horrence. His 2 loves in life were the study of magic and writing lovely poetry. Yes, because Horrence was the black mage that we bought reagents from at Skara Brae. Aha! The people of Skara Brae felt safe in the knowledge that this sort of mage protected the town. Then he began to change. First, his beautiful sonnets became a rhyming doggerel. It became the only way in which he would speak his spells, which he displayed before the townsfolk. Became destructive and violent. People began to fear him. My death occurred at about this time. Not long after that, he became reclusive. He had a tower built on the northern point and never removed himself from it. Then, one night, the graves in the graveyard opened and the dead began to walk. Markham nods his head empathetically. That's right. I seen it, I did. They marched to his tower, and now they roam all over the island, performing his bidding. It be getting so a ghost can't make an honest living no more. Humph. Markham looks a bit disgruntled. Mayor Trent? The poor man knows the spirit-wrenching feeling of loss almost as well as I. His wife, Rowena, was killed by the walking dead. And Mistress Medora claims that she saw her sitting on a throne next to the Lich's own. I believe this has driven Trent somewhat mad. He works night and day upon some oddly formed cage. Strange, though, he never seems to finish it. He doth not seem to recall that he died in the fire either. But a great hatred for Horrence still burns in his heart. Mayor. The mayor, Quentin selects his words carefully, well, he believes that discretion is the better part of valor, so he may be able to offer thee some aid, but thou art likely first to need convince him thou art not here to hurt him. And Cain. He looked as if he expected your question. Alas, Cain, in his attempt to free us of the Lich, instead damned us to become slaves of the self-same Lich. What do you mean by slaves? Yes, we are his slaves. Every night at midnight we must go to the Dark Tower and become servants of his black mass. I only know this because Mordra tells us it is so. I have no recollection of ever having been to the Dark Tower at all. His expression betrays his fear. Okay. He turns back to his conversation with Markham. So, we got ghosts. They died trying to free themselves. Trying to kill a lich that was controlling the town. Which is kind of mean, kind of sad. Oh no, eek, it's just garbage. Literally, it's just a town of garbage. Come on, let's get around the table, Grug. Well, let's check out what else is in this town. Oh, these clouds are the worst. Go away, clouds. You're terrible. No one likes clouds. Not even their moms. And that's rough. Alright, past here, looks like we got a building. Kind of down to the left, we got a giant mushroom. We got what looks like a graveyard. So your basic graveyard with some haunted doors. We got Team Dum Dum here who can't figure out how to walk around the fence. Which is par for the course for our team. Let's see. We have a statue. Oh, I'm going to need the runes for this. What is that symbol? J. J.R.R. Tolkien. Oh, J.R.R.T. What is this one again? A.G.R. A great... J.R.R.T. A great... what is this? A great man... A great writer. Cool. Literally a statue of J.R.R. Tolkien. That's pretty cool. I mean, if you're going to, hey, there's no way in this building. Why would you not have a way in this building? Well, we found the grave of J.R.R. Tolkien. That's a little odd, if disturbing. Is everybody together? Looks like it. Kind of keeping close to the combat button here in case it pops up. I don't know what this, all this talk of undead that may attack us and try to kill us. Got a little building here. Oh, we got a harpy. Just a harpy. What do we got here? Oh, ho, 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 ho. That's a great look. Hello, my lord. Thou mayest call me Mistress Mordra. She peers at you closely. And thou must be Grug the Avatar. She looks you over thoroughly. She lifts up her arms, and in one of them you see an Ankh. Words which you vaguely recognize flow from her lips, and the Ankh glows brightly. She stops chanting, the Ankh dims. After her analysis of your condition is complete, it is good to see that the world has been treating thee well. How may I serve thee, O virtuous one? What's your name? She smiles at you. Thou art quite forgetful, Grug, as I have told thee. I am known as Mordra. Your job. I was the hero of this town before the fire erupted that shattered the lives of those here. I also dabbled in secret magical arts for a while. She winks at you slyly. Lives? Wouldst thou like to know about the townsfolk of Skara Brae? Sure. Very well then, of whom wouldst thou speak? Ferryman. I know very little about that one. He's been here since the Lich called up the angry dead from their graves. I know one thing, though. Even shouldst thou defeat Horrence, he will remain here under the guise he serves. She looks a little sad as she tells you this. He'll never be released. Markham. She gives you a crooked smile. That rascal opened one of the best pubs this side of Buccaneer's Den, or so he'd have thee believe. He's a bit rough around the edges, but he knows how to buy good wine, and that is for sure. And his taste in barmaids isn't half bad either, she winks. If thou hast met Paulette, thou dost know of what I speak. Quentin. That poor man has had a life fraught with grief. The one ailment none of my magics seem to be able to do much about. His wife Gwen was taken by a rather nasty group of men several years after the birth of their daughter Marnie. I know what happened to her, but I have spared Quentin his knowledge out of pity. The men thought she was a noble lady due to her unsurpassed beauty. When they found out she was the wife of a lowly fisherman, they raped her brutally and sold her to a disreputable brothel. Fortunately, she died not long after her arrival there. Mordred looks profoundly saddened. The angry dead. The graves of our ancestors have spilled forth the dead of Skara Brae. Their minds and hearts are rotted, and they care not for the living. Hence the name, Angry Dead. Paulette. She is quite a lovely girl, although a bit childlike in outlook. Her father was not of this world, I believe. He spoke with an odd inflection. His appearance was very unlike most other people in Britannia. But then thou well knowest that many people of other worlds come to this land. I've even heard it rumored that Lord British himself is an outworlder. Imagine that. A sly expression crosses her face. And Marnie. Yes, a half-told tale is no tale at all. She continues with her account of Quentin's sad life. Marnie took ill after her mother's abduction and lived with one foot in the grave for several more years. Finally, Quentin could take it no longer. He borrowed money from a violent man named Michael, who went by the moniker Blade. When he could not repay the loan, Blade slew him. However, this is not the end of my piteous tale, for even after his death, Quentin's shade was forced to remain in the town of spirituality, where he had to watch his beloved Marnie grow more ill and eventually die. Yorl, the man who cared for Marnie after her father's death, built a shrine for her earthly body. She grows silent for a while, eyes downcast. It is my sincere hope that thou shalt rid us of Horrence, so that Quentin may join his loved ones, wherever they may be. And Blade? Her face becomes passionless for the first time since you met her. The reason I know of this story is because my late brother, Rinaldo, sat on the bench of the High Court in U. He wrote to me about the capture of not only Blade, but also the pirates who abducted Quentin's wife. The pirates spent the rest of their days in the lowest cells of a dungeon, and Blade met his fate upon the edge of a guillotine. A fitting death, dost thou not think? No one else. I see. What else should we speak of? How about the fire? 'Twas the doom of this town, although I place no blame upon the alchemist Cain, for I was the one who told him the recipe that I am sure will rid us of Horrence the Lich. What do you mean, recipe? It was but a simple mixture of a few ingredients. It should have worked. Her eyes narrow. I expect the mayor of ours, Forsyth, fouled things up. Tell me about the magical arts. Her eyes twinkle mischievously. If I reveal them to thee, they wouldn't be secret any longer, now would they? Cain. Now those who reside here call him the Tortured One. That is because he is in eternal pain caused by searing flames licking at his flesh. The pain is imagined, but to him 'tis as real as thou or I, or at least as real as thou art. And the mayor? That man is a bumbling idiot. It is his fault that the island was destroyed. I gave him the exact portions of the reagents to be used in the magical formula, and he paraphrased it to the alchemist Cain. By the size of the fire, I am sure he misquoted the amount of mandrake root by 10-fold. Damn that foolish man. Her brow creases, and you can see that this is a subject that she likes to avoid. All right, well. Goodbye, young Grug. Take care of thyself. But should ill befall thee, I hope that thou wilt come back here and let me minister to thine ailments. She smiles kindly as you leave. So we have a healer here. Anything in her house? She's got a bunch of reagents here. We'll leave those in case we need them for anything. Like a potion of invisibility. Couple things. Are we going to get flagged? She does not seem to care if we take her potions. I know that's too heavy. I want the potion, not the decorative stuff. Thank you. Alright, let's see. So this is her little house. This appears to be another house to the north. She's a little beat up. Whoa! The doors. Not much in here. Just another potion. What do we got? Anybody in here? Ah. You see a middle-aged ghost cowering in the corner of his burned-out room. He's shaking from head to toe, and as you approach, he jumps out, waving an ankh in your face. Thou'lt not have me, foul beast. Back, back, I say. In the name of the virtues, back. He slowly notices that this is having no effect other than to surprise you and looks more closely in your direction. He looks from you to a picture of you on the wall. Back and forth he looks, squinting his eyes until they go wide with relief. Oh, thank thee for coming. Lord British finally called thee to help us. He's obviously suffering from some delusion. I am Mayor Forsyth. Dost thou think it will take long for thee to defeat the Lich? Name. I told thee, I'm Forsyth. Your job. He seems confused by your question. Did I not already reveal that? I am the mayor. Tell me about the Lich. Why, yes, the Lich has been a horrible scourge on my poor town. First, he drives away all visitors by raising the dead. Then, in an attempt to stop him, this town is destroyed in a terrible fire. Well, I suppose that is not strictly his fault, but, well, something had to be done about him. Forsyth looks a little flustered. The tortured one? That is what we call Cain. He is the alchemist who created the fire. Tell me about the fire. He puts his arm around your shoulders and whispers, Mistress Mordra, our healer, thought she found a way to get rid of Horrence once and for all. All we have to do is make a gold cage. Or, was it an old cage? Well, no matter. We make this cage, and someone, he smiles at you, lowers it into the Well of Souls to do something or other to it. When this is done, thou shalt catch the Lich off guard late at night and snap it tight around him. Sounds easy thus far, yes? Well, now, after that, you need to only pour on him the magic liquid the alchemist was making. He pauses here, as if a little embarrassed. I apparently got the proportions a bit off when I told the alchemist about the formula. Anyway, it should be as easy as falling off a log for thee. I guess thou hadst better be running along now. Mistress Mordra can tell thee everything, ever so much more about this than can I. Be careful, though. She's a dangerous old wench. Woo! Alright, tell me about Horrence. Well, if I've got all this Lich lore straight, then Horrence used to be a good and kindly mage to become a nasty, horrible undead mage. He smiles patronizingly. Now run along. Thou canst ask Mordra if thou need more information. Okay, tell me about Miss Mordra. She resides just across the way and can help thee with everything thou might need to rid us of the Lich. Thank thee ever so much. It has been nice talking to thee. Goodbye. He scurries back to his corner and holds his ankh in a protective fashion. Well, let's not just go about accusing him. I mean, I was tempted to, but let's not do that. Let's talk to Medora again, but let's continue these conversations in the next episode of Gaming with Grug. So, folks, this has been a good one. We're learning a lot about what happened here on Skara Brae. Surprised we're remembering some of the people that used to be here. We'll find out more and hopefully help these people in the next episode of Gaming with Grug. Until then, I want to say thanks for watching. Please tell your friends. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, we hope to see you soon.